Let's go.
All right. So we'll call to order the May 19th, 2026 meeting of the Town of Bridgewater DEIB Committee. So we are going to start with approval of the prior meeting minutes. So we'll start with, both of these are in the meeting packet for this week. So we'll start with December 3rd. I'll entertain a motion to approve those meeting minutes.
Approved.
Second.
All right, great. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. Okay. Now the March 24th meeting minutes. Somebody would like to make a motion to approve?
I mean,
Approved.
And so
second.
seconded. All right, great. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Great. All right, both meeting minutes are approved. Next on the agenda is public comment. No members of the public are here, so we continue on to new business. So the new business is following up what we talked about at our previous meeting, which is everybody was making updates to their portions of the town council presentation as well as the belonging survey. So, have received Phil's addition to the town council presentation. Thank you, Phil. Have not received anything else for the town council presentation or for the belonging survey, which means that this is probably going to be a short meeting until we can get the rest of those filled in.
Ashley, do we have the survey in hand?
Yes, Josh sent it out immediately after our last meeting, as well as a reminder, um, I think 2 days ago.
Okay. So, since we have can you print them out so we can, first of all, I'd just like to ask you, would you like to table the Juneteenth so we can gather some information? If we have a table there, we can gather some information at Juneteenth.
We would have to have the survey ready to go, and I don't see that doesn't seem likely to me, given that we've been meeting about every 3 to 4 weeks, and the survey is not done right now, let alone has it been, you know,
Oh, I thought that
forwarded.
Josh was going to have the IT people do it.
Uh, that was one of your tasks, Shirley. Did you connect with Josh about that?
That was about the old task you said?
Yeah, that's one of your tasks that we agreed on at the previous meeting. It says Shirley will talk to Josh about next steps for getting the survey programmed and launched. Did you have
Well,
a chance
that's
to connect with Josh?
yes, I'll do that. So if we get if we can get this, because he said they were going to do it, and if he gets it done before Juneteenth, maybe if we can know by the 14th, no, it can't be by the 14th because 13th is Juneteenth. If we know by the end of the month, would you like to table? We would like to table.
I would love it if you want to table, but I'm going to be out of town, so I won't be able to be here.
Okay, Phil, could you work with me?
Uh, Quite possibly, if you're talking about the one that the Juneteenth event that takes place in on BSU property.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, it's I think it's the week before the official Juneteenth.
it is. It's 13th.
Yeah, okay. So um yeah, I think that's fine.
I'll check with Josh this week to see if they can have the surveys ready.
Yeah, okay.
If he says they're ready, we can talk and we can decide how we're going to do the sampling or collect the data.
Right. Ashley, if you don't mind my saying so, I looked over the survey and I thought it was pretty good, and it's pretty in depth. If I were to change anything about that, um, it would be above, what do you consider, or what block describes you best? Maybe if you were to write on top of that or have another line that says optional.
Okay, we can ask Josh to just add that in.
Hold on, hold
I thought the
on.
survey was ready. I'm sorry, what did you say?
Hold on. I'm gonna share my screen with the survey because this was one of my tasks for this week is to make some
Okay.
additions to the survey. So hold on a minute. Josh, I think you have to give me permission to share.
Yep, you should be all set. And while you're doing that, I did hear my name a couple times. Um, so Shirley, let me just ask this. So there's a survey, and you wanted to get it up on the website, and you wanted to make it accessible and get results back that way. Um, and you want to have that before Juneteenth.
Can we have it ready? Can we have some hard copies so we can do that at Juneteenth if we table?
Well, that's what I was going to ask is would it make more sense to do this, have the survey or do the survey at Juneteenth and get feedback that way before we put it on the website to the public
Yes.
through the website?
Yes, could
Okay.
we?
Okay, yeah, if you want to send me the final copy, I can print however many copies you want. And then you can come pick them up if that works for you.
Yeah, I mean, that would be okay, I guess. Hard copies are not ideal because then somebody has to enter the data. So
True.
it would be better if it was all digital because then the data would all live in the same place instead of having some hard copy Juneteenth data and then some digital other data.
How would you propose we get it, or how would you propose it was collected at Juneteenth?
Well, we could make a flyer that has a QR code that people that can be at the table and people can scan the QR code and take the survey.
Okay. I
That,
think
that's
if
awesome.
I remember correctly, was Jane
Yeah.
uh tasked with creating the QR code and everything? Because I don't know that we have any type of back end tools on our website for that. I could I we might have to use like SurveyMonkey or something like that. And I would just say with the as you guys probably know, we are looking at reduced hours um come the new fiscal year. So we're just trying to keep, or we're not just trying not to overtask the IT with the, things like that. But, um, yeah, let me talk to them and see what they can come up with. Just send me the final copy and I'll work with it and we'll figure something out.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question? I think it may be best if we better if we did both ways because there are people who will come as they pass through the archives or the walkways. They may do the survey, but some of them will never go online and do it. And I think we need to use every opportunity we have to gather information. And that's your way. If you have a live person there, the person will stop and do the survey. I just think we can have use both opportunities to do so.
Yeah, and I think that, once if you guys did collect hard copies, you gotta always drop them off to my office and, if I got a free couple minutes, I could just input them into the website.
Okay. What do you think, Phil and Ashley?
Phil, I think Phil was trying to say something earlier. Did you want to chime in, Phil?
No, I was just thinking that that's the QR code is a great idea. It's far more relaxed. It's becoming more and more popular. It's pretty easy to access. It'll cut down on how much paper we have around. And the point that I was making about how do you identify yourself, some people may not want to answer that. Some people may want to. So somewhere above that could be optional, but it's not necessarily necessary because if they don't want to check their box, they don't have to. So that's the only point I was making about that. I think the the easier it is to digest, the more likely that we'll get a higher return of completed surveys. And so whether that's going online with a QR code or doing it by hand or hitting a website, um, or any combination of those, I guess we should be well covered. That's my thought.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Josh, for the reduced hours and like things that IT is dealing with, was that in reference to like entering the survey into something where it can be collected online, or about like a QR code specifically, or about like putting what we send them onto the website? Like, I'm just a little more clarity on.
Yeah, I mean, just about everything, honestly. I mean, same with me. I'm going to be uh, having reduced hours. So we're just trying to find a balance of that. Um, so essentially, what I'm getting at is the return on these things is it's probably going to be prolonged. Because it ends up being quite a few hours because it's 5 hours per employee, essentially, for each department. It's not just, 5 hours per department. Um, so it adds up pretty quick. And we just switched over this new website and everything, and we're still dealing with that. Um, and the IT department's actually losing a position. So they're getting their hours cut and they're losing a position, which,
Wow.
yeah, so we're kind of in a rough spot, as far as as far as like implementing the projects that we were anticipating coming up. So I'm just trying to prepare you guys for that, in the coming months here.
But Josh, if we were to
Yeah.
do that, that may mean that we can have an in-person meeting where we can do what we always did before we had the opportunity to do the QR code. We meet in person and do the ballots. Collect the data. Is
Yeah, I
there
mean
any?
that that's part of the thing too is if you guys we have committees that want to do in-person meeting, but then they expect somebody like staffing there or something like that. And again, we're doing reduced hours, and they have a staff member there all day. It can be after we are already getting reduced hours, kind of tricky to schedule when we are already short staffed. As you guys probably noticed that I was absent for the last meeting of your guys is because I was covering for another employee, and if we were down one more person, you guys wouldn't have been able to meet, unfortunately. So and that's before the hours have been cut.
I'm sorry, Josh, that really sucks.
Yeah, no, no, I appreciate it, but I just want to let you guys know that the involvement, my ability to attend your guys' meetings might be cut back, things like that. So, and like I was saying, with IT losing so much, I think it might be a little bit tricky with the survey on the website and everything. But let me get what you can over to me while they still have a person here until that person's here until I think July 1st. We'll do whatever we can. It just might be slow going after that.
So if it sounds like this would help, if it's allowed, I can put the survey into like a Microsoft Forms.
Hmm.
Is that like, would that work?
You could do that. That's perfectly fine. I mean, but the whole point of me originally getting IT involved for you guys is taking the load off of you guys because you guys are volunteers. You're not getting paid for this, so I wanted to make it as easy as possible for you, but that's kind of going away a bit here. But so if that's something you want to take on, I hate to put more on you, but that might honestly be a little bit better for you guys in the long run.
Yeah, it means we don't have to wait on IT, as you know, so that Shirley and Phil can table it Juneteenth. So yeah, I use Microsoft Forms all the time, so I'm happy to do that.
And you can include the QR code.
So that's the other thing, is that and Josh, you haven't heard from Jane. She hasn't said anything about.
No, it's been kind of hit and miss with Jane lately. She responds to some of my emails, but not others. So I'm not sure if she's just been busy or what's been going on. But if you guys have a better way of getting in touch with her, I would recommend reaching out to her. I don't think I have her telephone number, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't have any contact info for her.
No, I just have her email.
Okay.
But I haven't heard from her since I think she sent over the minutes, and that was the last thing I had from her.
Yeah. Because that creating the QR code and like the flyer for the survey was supposed to be Jane's job, but since we don't, I mean, if we're gonna have hard copies at Juneteenth anyway, we can always just do hard copies. Or I mean, I guess I can make a QR code, but I don't want to make it. I don't want to do the survey in Microsoft Forms and make a whole flyer. But I can make a QR code, like a really simple. It's just gonna be a QR code on a piece of paper that you can have on the table at Juneteenth.
And if once you guys collect all this data and you want to, and you find a way you want to present it, that's the kind of stuff that I can assist with. Again, it might take me a little bit longer to get turned around on, but I have access to the website and everything, so I could get that added to the website, make it linkable for any type of like sharing you guys want to do as far as social media, things like that. I will do my very best to just wanted to preface the next few months with it's going to be a little bit slow.
Rocky Road.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Appreciate that, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah.
So the decision is,
What was that, Shirley?
we'll have some hard copies available for Juneteenth, and then we'll have the QR code so that people can go online to do it also.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So as far as the survey goes, yeah, I think it's a good point, Phil, that we don't want people to feel like they have to identify themselves. In the questions 3, 4, and 5, there is a prefer not to say option. Those are probably the ones that people are most likely to not want to answer. So they do have that, and then we won't require any of these responses.
Yeah. So I would say at this point, it's more important to get it done, and you already have it there. They'll see that, and they'll follow accordingly with any other section that they may not want to fill in.
Yeah.
That's my guess. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so these are the items that Jane had put together that we have already talked about and approved, and then this open-ended response about what one change would make them feel more connected. And then what I did between our last meeting and this meeting is I went back to the 2021 survey and I put in some of the same questions because we wanted to see, that was 2021, this is 2026. We wanted to see are there similarities and differences in how people answered those questions.
Sure.
I did not put all of the questions in because it's getting kind of long. So that's what I have in this comment over here is the questions that I left out. But let's look first at the ones that I put in. So it says the next section of questions is about inclusivity and identity-based issues. These are the same questions that were asked in a Bridgewater Raynham Town survey in 2021. So we're looking to see how responses from residents today are similar to or different from those 5 years ago. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how inclusive, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, gender identification, sexual orientation, neurodiversity, disability, mental health, and sizeism do you find the Bridgewater community? Responses are from 1 to 10. The next one, have you ever experienced or witnessed identity-based mistreatment on the basis of race, ethnicity, religion, gender identification, all that stuff in the Bridgewater community? Response options are yes, no, or I'm not sure or cannot recall. And then the last one, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with town and school officials on addressing the topic of diversity and inclusion? From not satisfied at all to extremely satisfied. I started with just these 3 because I thought they were the most useful, probably.
Yeah.
The ones that I left out are over here. This one is, do you feel informed regarding school and town processes and procedures for issues of discrimination? There's an open response one where it's, if applicable, we welcome you to share your stories regarding issues of discrimination, including details like where, when, type of discrimination. And then a follow-up, was the issue addressed? If so, were you satisfied? If not, how would you have changed the outcome? I think in a perfect world, I would want to have all of these in the survey, but it would make it very long, and possibly, we're starting out with like, I feel a sense of belonging, and then we go into like, tell me about discrimination. It feels like a bit of a sharp turn.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to be talked into including any of these. So what do you all think?
If you don't mind my saying, I'm thinking that we could have a whole new demographic. It's only a difference of 5 years between 21 and 26. But a lot of people aren't going to be interested in that kind of data. They're going to be in the present. So rather than having the script there, which under other circumstances may be valuable, but it's you're sharing like an internal process
Mm,
on an external form, the
that's true.
questionnaire. Yeah, and
That's a good
you
point.
can still, yeah, you can still see what the delta is in between 21 and 26 because you have the data.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
And that opens up a little bit more space. I think we can all say that when we put ourselves in the position where either we have to fill out a form or we want to fill out a form, as quickly as we can get through it, it's always better.
Yeah, agreed. What do you think, Shirley? Stick with these three questions?
Are they going to shed any more light on the data? How much in 5 years? I think it would be interesting to collect data in the 5 year span of time period because things have changed. The atmosphere, the environment has changed a lot in Bridgewater since then. So it may be valuable.
All right, sounds good.
And you'll be able to do that by once you get the surveys back to look at what the results were for 21.
Yep, yep.
Be perfect. And the QR code, just want to thank you in advance up front for that.
Yeah, no worries. Super easy. I just won't make a pretty flyer. All right, awesome. Okay, so in that case, I think we're doing pretty well on the survey. So we just talked to Josh about next steps, so I think we're pretty good on that. We'll kind of table this issue of making a flyer to advertise around town until the next meeting.
Oh,
And
the
then
flyer for Juneteenth.
no, not for Juneteenth, but like because at Juneteenth we'll be able to like tell people you'll be able to tell people like we're doing a survey. Can you take a survey? But the
Yeah,
flyers are like if we could put them up in local businesses, like we're not going to be there, but so the flyer has to
yeah,
have some information about what the survey is.
makes sense.
But yeah, I think so that we'll postpone that. Sorry, I shouldn't have used the word table. Since we're tabling at
Yeah.
Juneteenth. We'll postpone that until a future meeting to talk more about that later. And
You
then Phil,
propose
did you get a chance, Phil, to talk to Sam about ideas for advertising the survey?
I got in contact with him. I still don't have his phone number. I sent him an email. I haven't heard back from him. And Shirley, by the way, I'm using the email you had sent me where he was supposed to be copied on, and I couldn't see his name anywhere, but I used that anyways because at the time that's all I had, and I have not heard back from him. Um, so I would really like to be able to connect with him and see where we can lock arms and share information towards the same goal. And as far as my slide that I was responsible for, I put in a few points there that kind of opens the breadth or the tent that we want to create that includes diversity. And you hit a lot of good points. When you were talking about people who are handicapped, etc. it's something that has to work for everyone. Everyone is welcome under the tent.
Yep. Agreed.
And that's the narrative that I sent to Josh.
Yep. Thanks for sending that, Phil. I just pasted it into the slide. I'll probably end up making this 2 slides just so it's not a lot of text on a single slide, but I'll do that later.
And Ashley, feel free to make your edits. If you see something, I don't mind that at all.
Okay.
I think you get the gist of it.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil.
We do have access to the slides, don't we, Ashley?
Yeah, Josh sent them around twice.
Okay.
Not this current version that has Phil's edits, but I'll send it to Josh after this meeting so he can send the updated one around.
Okay.
All right, so as far as what we're still missing here, we still need pictures unless we don't want to do pictures at all. I don't know if Jane's going to do this or not. We can reevaluate next time. If Jane's still not here, we can assign this one to somebody else.
Does anybody have an objection to the pictures?
I don't have an objection. We just, if we want to have them, people need to have pictures.
Yeah. This is so awkward, but the only one I could find was that was on here was a photo ID I took for a passport to get me home from Indonesia. That was the only one I could find. So I had to take one.
Okay. Sounds good. I mean, we have more time on this one, so this is a little bit lower priority, but I'll add that to my to-do list.
I'll probably end up having to go to CVS or something. They'll do it on the spot.
Okay.
So what's the decision on the Juneteenth tabling?
Yes, I thought we decided yes on that.
Oh, okay. So I just want to make sure that I can register us to have a table, and we can have the information there, and have someone manning it. Since you won't be around, Ashley.
Right. Yes, I will not be there.
Okay.
Okay. This is what
And
I
we'll try to
added.
find some place. Excuse me.
Go
I'll try
ahead.
to find some place where the surveys will be kind of screened and put away for privacy. There's no place for them to sign anyway, so there's no. Is there?
Right. No, we don't. It's anonymous, so we don't want them to put their names down.
Okay. And I just want to make sure that they know that.
Yeah. If you can bring like not a letter size envelope, but like a full page size envelope, then when people complete the surveys, they can put them straight into the envelope.
Right.
Okay.
So I just want to make sure that people have the idea that it is their survey results are private, and they're not going to be screened or looked at by anyone. Because there's no identifying information on there anyway. So they can feel secure in doing it.
Right. Right.
Good point.
Right, Phil?
Yeah, good. That's a great point. I totally overlooked that.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what I added to this is one of the 2 things that I added to the survey is a little bit about why addressing these issues is good for Bridgewater, because we want all of our residents to feel welcome and truly believe that they belong. In thinking about what Sam had talked about a couple meetings ago, I'm trying to keep this survey like a well duh thing. Like, yeah, of course we want everybody to feel like they belong. Like, I don't know how anybody's gonna protest that, but I guess we'll find out when we give this presentation. Shirley, I don't think you have sent Josh your section yet about what we know about residents' experiences in Bridgewater, these ideas about like composition of town residents versus leaders in school districts and police departments, stuff like that.
Nope, I haven't sent it yet.
Okay, so we do need that.
I'll work on it.
Sounds good. All right, and then I added what we don't know. So, do the survey findings from 2021 hold up today, or have residents' experiences and beliefs changed over time? And then, what can we do to improve residents' sense of belonging in the town of Bridgewater? And then the rest of it, there's something highlighted here about just when we're getting closer to the presentation, updating with what we have been working on at that time. All right.
You know, speaking of, no, go ahead.
Oh, excuse me. Ashley, I
Mhm.
just thought about something. You mentioned flag raising. Did anyone approach you about participating in the flag raising activities?
No, no one has approached me about that. Was someone
Phil,
supposed to?
yes, because Phil and I were talking. Phil and I just happened to be talking about it one day, and we said that would be a great opportunity. And I talked with Denise about it, about just including you as probably just a spokesman for DEIB, and just doing whatever you could do. You know, if you're just saying greetings from DEIB, how important it is to be part of flag raising activities, because it does replicate some of the things that we strive to understand better in the town. Whatever you want to say, that's what I was thinking. Would you like a 5-minute spot?
Well, so this brings me to a point that Josh asked us at the beginning of the meeting whether we want to renew our terms on the committee. So let me just talk you through what I'm thinking about that right now is that I only ever wanted to be a member of this committee, and then when we were first starting, we needed people to take on positions, and so I was happy to be secretary and a member of the committee. I did not want to chair this committee, but because our previous chair stepped down, nobody else was able to take it on at the time. I did agree to, and I'm wildly overwhelmed at work and in my personal life right now, so this is not a great time for me to be chair of this committee. So Josh recommended that we wait until July to make any decisions about committee reorganization, but
Mm,
this is not a good time for me to be taking on.
more.
Yeah. So I really appreciate that offer, Shirley, of being the spokesperson at the flag raising, and that just is not gonna. I'm not able to do that right now.
Understandable. So, Shirley, is it at the library or is it at
The library.
the building? So, who's our friend at the library?
We have the librarian, the head librarian.
No, there's someone else. There's someone else. She came by the house with flyers for Juneteenth.
Oh, Janice?
That's it. Yep. Seems like so long ago.
Yeah, Janice.
Janice with a J, right?
Right.
Do you know how to spell her name entirely? It's probably in my phone.
Jenisc. Jenisc.
Because I know she's doing something over there.
She's gonna be chairing the whole thing,
Yeah.
because she's chair of the Juneteenth and she's chair of BCCR.
Yeah. She stays busy. Okay. Are we missing anything else? Do we need-
No, that pretty much covers what we were gonna do today.
Actually, you have a 3-year-old, right?
I had a 2-year-old, so we're in
Oh, it's
the
it's a 2-year-old.
the 2-year-old. Yes.
I understand. Been there.
Yeah.
Understand the whole quandary about time allocation.
Yeah. She's wonderful and also lots of work.
I think Josh understands too.
I'm sure he does. All right, so I took a couple notes about things that we'll all work on between now and our next meeting. Let's see if we can set our next meeting for before Juneteenth, just so we can confirm that like all the details are in place for that.
Sure, can we be consistent with Tuesday?
Yeah, definitely. So the no, so I can't do, sorry, yes, we can. I can't do the Tuesday immediately before because that's when I'm starting to be out of town. But the one before that, so that would be, I think that's 2 weeks from now, June 2nd. Does that work for you both?
So
I'll
far,
make it work.
So it'd be June 2nd at 7:30. And Josh, if you can hear us, does that work for you?
Yes. I was just refilling the ice with water for my daughter. Um, yeah, that should be no problem. If I can't do it, I'll make sure that you guys have coverage.
great.
All right, let's do that then. Um, okay. And so at that meeting, we'll check in about. I'll email the sort of task list to Josh to send out right after this, and then we'll all work on those in between now and June 2nd. And then in our meeting on June 2nd, we will kind of make sure that all of our details are in place for the Juneteenth tabling. All right, so next on the agenda is old business. I don't think we have anything else carrying over. Next is additional items for discussion. Unless either of you have an additional item that you'd like to discuss, we can move to adjourning the meeting.
No additional items for me, except are we going to have the QR code to put on the surveys at the Juneteenth assembly? Okay.
Yes, I will make that before the June 2nd meeting.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just make sure that, who's tabling will make sure that people know that they can go to the QR code later.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, of course. All right, great. Okay, so somebody can make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All right, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. All right, thanks everybody.
Good
Thank
evening.
you for your time.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Josh.
Yep. Have a good evening.